today we're going to be talking about Meta Blueprint certifications. What is it? Who should be certified? The advantages and any disadvantages. And trust me, the disadvantages are zero, literally. First of all, what is Meta Blueprint certification? Meta Blueprint is almost like the license, if you will, for people to work in Meta itself, right? So there's a data analysis blueprint certification. There's a coding certification. There's a creative certification. There's a community management Meta Blueprint certification. And of course, there's paid social. Most people understand it from the paid social Meta Blueprint certification point of view. I would say 90% of all the certifications probably are most likely Meta Blueprint. Meta Blueprint planning and buying, I mean. So the reason why it's so important is it teaches you from Meta's point of view how they analyze mine, what based on their technology, based on their coding, how to get the best results. This causes a lot of confusion because you have a lot of people out there with 10 plus years experience in buying, and hey, I took the test and I flunked it, or there was a lot of questions where I know I'm right, common sense says I'm right, even the industry says I'm right, but Meta Blueprint says I'm wrong. Yes, because that is from Meta's unique point of view, from their angle, from their technological aspect, right? From their point of view, this is right because that's based on their technology. You can't necessarily adapt that specific question to a lot of, to the outside PPC vertical, right? That's the same for almost anything. So for a lot of there's a lot of platforms where that reality is common. So to literally just say that about Blueprint is, I don't know. Each one's different. Each platform's a little different, but they're all kind of the same, Is there a lot of difference between, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok? Well, yeah, there are, but there's a lot of similarities, right? So if you're probably good at one, you're probably good at the other, and you're able to actually make some better recommendations because you're certified in Instagram and you're able to look at TikTok and make that analysis and know the terminology of what the correct vocabulary is in terms of optimization events, in terms of understand what a video view is, video completions, all sorts of stuff. So at the end of the day, you are a stronger buyer from it. When I've seen the best results from Meta Blueprint, it was people who had a layer of experience. They were ready to go to a higher level in buying, right? So they were doing, let's just say, creative revisions, right? Swapping out creative, or they were just doing reporting, or they were just setting up minor campaigns. The list goes on. Almost like mid-level, bottom, lower level stuff, right? And when I say lower level, I don't say that in a bad way. I just mean that's, reporting, etc. Not necessarily setting up the campaign architecture and scaling, right? So we're talking about the other portion of the job, right? So they were doing that. They took the test, and there's something that happens when you take this test, when you take the planning, the Meta Blueprint certification for buying, that really just propels you to like learning more. Now, here's the way I did it. I took the digital associate, which is like the baby buying. Then I took the real buying. I passed that. I took the planning. I flunked that. But then I took it again, and after 2 months later, and I passed. So I was at the same time, and I am to this day Meta Blueprint certified buying, Meta Blueprint certified planning. And I can honestly tell you, when I had both of them, plus that awesome experience in terms of like working in the buys, even just doing the reporting, the insights were much better. The creative swap outs were minimal. I mean, the errors from the creative swap outs were minimal. The ROAS was higher. The cost per conversion was lower. I just noticed I was able to do a lot more things. And there was just something that happened from the test being so difficult. And that's what the issue lies. The test is actually pretty hard. So it causes a lot of frustration from people because they can't pass it. And I get it. But that's kind of the reward is when you pass it and you're buying and you're planning, man, I feel like you're just like a superhero. There's just something that happens that I see rarely see errors. I rarely see overages. I see a lot of good insights, a lot of great recommendations when somebody has that combination. Now, I've only seen a select people who had who had both. But even the buying one, hey, there's something that they're just a little bit different, and I can almost tell. That's the even scary part, which I love. That's actually good scary. And I was so into it that when I was working at agency and I was in relatively second command, I kind of mandated it that you were expected to be certified, and a lot of people moaned and groaned, and but the great thing about the agency world is that you have a Facebook rep, and you're able to get free vouchers for this. So that's something that a lot of people who are working big agency, ask your rep for vouchers. Like there's usually, I think we had 15 to 20 vouchers at the ready twice a year. So there was no reason why many of the people that I worked with couldn't get certified. So we kind of mandated it. We even had some account people do it. And that's where I came from, actually, was account work. So from the agency point of view, really, you're not going to be doing creative swaps for the rest of your life. You're not going to be doing reporting for the rest of your life. Eventually, you're going to move on to campaign architecture, scaling, doing pitches, all sorts of stuff. It's an amazing thing when you're on a pitch as an agency and you're able to say, oh yeah, by the way, our entire staff, or even me, is Meta Blueprint certified. Like we make sure that those are requirements for anybody who works with us long term, etc. So that's just awesome. Small business owners, operators, this is a little touchy because, right, who has time when you're a small business owner to go, oh yeah, I'm going to get certified too, and invest all this time to take the test and, go through all these, watching all these videos on it, etc. So I get that. I really do. But there's a reason why ROAS is declining every year. Before you could just run conversion campaigns and just be done with it, and that's it. Now you have to do, some other things. You have to make sure your awareness funnel is good. You have to make sure your whole entire smart funnel is optimized correctly. Are you doing the right benchmarks at each level? Are you, do you have the right creative, and do you know from experience which creatives do the best in terms of that appropriate smart funnel, right? So, I think it's great if you could get certified. I think it's asking a lot because there's so many different aspects, but it will help you long term. I do agree on that, especially if a lot of your business relies on it, but it's really making the time or making sure your employee is certified. Contractors and buyers. Oh man, I have a whole gripe here. It's no secret that there's a lot of scam agencies, scam PPC buyers out there. I've made a video, a vlog, and a podcast on this, and it's shocking. I can't tell you how many times in this last year where I pitched a client either from Fiverr or from Upwork or even referrals, or even they just found me through some other avenue, PR, etc. And they come to me and we pitch them. We, kind of just do a casual, like, this is what I would do. This is how, this is the retainer. And they leave. 6 months later, I can always tell, like, oh yeah, well, we're going to go work with somebody else. We think we have a good opportunity here. Lo and behold, 6 months later, guess who's calling me back? Guess. That same client. And a lot of times they're like, I had a feeling, it was you, but the other person was cheaper, etc. Or a lot of times they just promised something and were, they had some special tech or something like that. I don't know, but they go the wrong direction, but they weren't certified, right? It really comes down, guys, to the buying. The next thing right now is AI certifications, right? Or AI, not AI certifications, but AI infusion, tech infusion, right? I get that. But at the same, like I said earlier, the same emphasis we have on that, we have to incorporate on skills, because buying is so technical now due to the iOS 14.5, iOS 17, all sorts of crazy stuff going on. You have to have that technical knowledge, really know what you're doing, because there's so many people who learn on YouTube or learn from their friends, or I learned through a family member, and now I'm a PPC buyer, yay, and I have an Upwork profile and I can make buys and charge so much an hour. Really, it's you shouldn't be learning on someone else's dime. You should really have at least that grounding, know what you're doing, then go work on clients. The fact you're trying to learn on somebody else's dime is embarrassing, and that's exactly where I get the brunt of that, and I hear the complaints, and it's sad. How many times I've had people come back to me and they're like, yeah, I went with some other PPC buyer. They're $10,000, $12,000 a month retainer. Lord, that's crazy. And They burn through that. They burn through a $20,000 ad spend, or $30,000 ad spend per month. When you do the math on that, my friends, that's roughly Jesus. That's like 60, 55, 70, $80,000 in 2 months. So it's a really hard, difficult time right now. To differentiate yourself, you should be certified. And if you're a small business owner, you should be demanding that if there's a heavy meta spend, there should be a certified meta buyer, period. It's not a joke, and even me, I am dual certified, and really should be dual certified. That's actually where you should have someone in that organization that checks the buys, that's in your ads manager, that is dual certified. Same goes for Google. Same thing. I'm Google Ads certified. It's kind of funny too. It's kind of funny because even with Google Ads, now they're doing proctored exam, which is very similar to Blueprint, right? Before it was kind of the honor system is the best way to describe it. They're testing. So they understand now there needs to be more tightening up, right? It needs to be a real test. There needs to be a minimum threshold because you have all these people getting ripped off or working on Google Ads that don't know what they're doing. So it's great to see it all tightening up. And I am Google certified, but the test is coming up where I'm going to take the proctored exam that I'm going to do a video on. Very excited to do that. But man, it's great to see that Google's following in step and really making sure that holding the buyers accountable. It's a great thing. It's really should. There's too much on the line, folks. Millions of trillions of dollars in spending going on, and people are just trying to get out that quick retainer. So it's very sad to watch. But I always say this. Are there too many lawyers? Yes, but there's not enough good ones. There are not enough good ones. So if you're a good lawyer, there's always going to be work for you. If you're a good PPC buyer and you have those credentials, you invested in yourself and you hold you and your team to a higher level, man, that's awesome. That's you're going to go, you will do well. It's the people that don't that there's an issue. So I'll get off my soapbench. Let's talk about the advantages. The first, it helps you in competition. We already talked about that, right? Certified, non-certified. I get, we all know that. But here's a great thought. I have been in this circumstance. I have been in this circumstance where you're a agency, right? Or you're a contractor. You have the client on the phone, there's you, and then there's another contractor on the phone. And this person could be either in-housed or it could be another agency. And if there's a bunch of modeling going around, like, this, that, I think we should do this, that, whatever, we should do more, awareness, we should do more bottom funnel, blah, blah, blah. Do you know who's the expert in that room? Do you know who's the expert in that particular phone call? Even if they have more experience, do you know who the expert is? The person who's Meta Blueprint certified. The person who's acknowledged as a certified expert. And that's exactly what Meta Blueprint is. It's an acknowledgement of an expert on that platform for paid ads. That's the beauty of it, right? You're the expert. You're the authority. You already, just through having that certification, saying that you're certified, you already have a leg up on that other agency or that other contractor. So it blows my mind how people don't think this through. But it is what it is, but I really have really taken a stance on this to really preach this. And especially in this day and age when I see so many complaints going on from clients, it's amazing. I've even had clients even ask about certification. So that's good. That's good because there's too many people running around who are not certified. Next is promotion. This is an easy one. And this actually goes to my agency point of view, that as whether even like you're starting your career and you're more at the entry level, or if you're in the mid level, or even if you're senior, be that person that carries that flag that says like, hey, I'm going to hold this team to a higher standard, right? And I'm going to make sure that we are certified, because people, again, we all acknowledge, right? People who are certified make less errors. They work quicker. They're able to have more better insights, better recommendations, problem solving. That all comes from that hard test, because the muscle memory of working through all those word problems on the planning portion, all those formulas from the buying portion, it all works together, that once you have that layer of experience, do you have that test? you're going through, I'm telling you, it's worth it, folks. I cannot say it enough. It really is. So the promotion capabilities are so much better. And then when you're able to, one thing I love about Meta Blueprint too is the imposter syndrome. We've all had that feeling. There's nothing like a confidence booster knowing that I have this piece of paper. If anything happens here, I'm able to pretty much speak to almost any problem. That's why, my friends, having both certifications is so important. That's why it's good to have the buying and the planning. You're like a superhero that can handle, you're a Swiss Army knife. You can just go in and churn and any wrench you can. But you have to invest in both tests. You have to pay the $150 a test. You have to do the study time. You have to do the practice test. You have to be able to invest the time into studying and the time, into ads management to know all the different aspects of buying, to make great recommendations, to literally look when you have both of those and you have a great buying capability, when you have all that 3 trifecta, the 2 certifications plus the awesome experience, you're able to literally look probably within 2 minutes in any ads manager and define what the problem is. Now, could you do that with experience if, working 10 plus years on buying? Sure. But the level of confidence, right, that comes, especially when you're just going into a director role, when you're just going into a supervisor role, when you're just going into an AMD role, right? You want that confidence to just ooze out of you, right? That's what I love about that. It literally dissipates any imposter syndrome, especially when you have both certifications. The leadership, man, don't even get me started there. We already talked about that. The adaptability, absolutely. This comes from, just making sure that you can work in any situation. You're able to scale up, right? And that's the big thing right now, scaling, right? Scaling the ads. Oh, well, I have a warm ad account. I'm trying to scale and drive more revenue. Dude, do you guys know how to do that? Well, if you're planning and buying certified, even just one of those, even planning actually deals a lot with scaling. You know what to do. You know the exact levers to pull. Yes, well, yeah, I'm certified, and I know that I have to conduct the right experiments, make sure that the ROAS is staying the same, adjust it. Anything over $100, you need to only adjust the cost per day. You got to adjust it only 20-25%, etc. That's a whole other methodology I'll go into. But that you have that like I said, that Swiss Army knife to dive in and scale right away, and that's the adaptability I was talking about. And then, of course, the disadvantages. Okay, so there are so many people poo-pooing on this, it's ridiculous. I see a lot of veterans saying, oh yeah, I don't need it, I have 10 plus years experience. Okay, all right. I don't think you need it then. I think the industry needs it. It's not about you. It's about the industry, and it's about how, what are you giving back? What level of standard are you giving this industry? Because I'm telling you, my friends, all of us know there's a problem right now, and I've seen it, and it's a big issue. It's not about you, and if you think you can do without it, it's really about the industry and your vocation and what you're giving back to this industry, right? You want to be able to do this. I want to, personally, I see myself doing this forever. I really do. I have a great kick in this. So I really have a great time in it, but I really want this. I would love for advertisers to spend more money in PPC, but they're not, because there's so much scamming going on. And I use this person, and they weren't able to do what they said they were going to do. Yeah, I agree. Like I would be pissed off too. If I was an advertiser and I found, somebody promised me the moon and they didn't deliver, I'd have a bad taste in my mouth to go into PPC. So it's really, it's not for you. It's for the industry. And then what I love about the certification process, it makes you acknowledge what you can do. It's almost like you're humbled, right? Like you're able to say, if an advertiser comes in and says, oh yeah, I want, I have a cold ad account. I don't even have an ad account. I need you to build it. I need you to scale it. We need to get a 5 ROAS tomorrow. You're able to say, excuse me, my friend, I am Meta Blueprint certified. I'm an expert in this. Not happening. Like we're going to have to do this in steps. We're going to have a correlated plan where 1 week we're going to start your ad account. The next day we're going to warm it up. We're going to have to do, spends and then do traffic, warm it up, optimize, blah, 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 and just put them down this path. Do you know how many PPC buyers are out there that are not certified? Maybe there are, and I and it's fine. It's a larger discussion, but as a Meta Blueprint certification, you should be able to call that out that that's garbage. But there's so many people out there that just learned on YouTube that, oh yeah, we just need to spend more. Oh yeah. We just need to spend another $10,000 a month. This doesn't work like that, folks. It really doesn't. If you're getting crap results, you're going to raise the spend another $100 a day, have $50 additional extra a month, and that's going to save you? No, that's not working. That's because you don't have the technical capability from Meta Blueprint to understand that what you need to do to scale. You may even need to dial it back, find out, do some experiments. Do you even have the right audience? Do you even have the right creative? Do you have the right architecture? Is your smart funnel correct? Are you just running ROAS all day long? And even though every year you do ROAS, the ROAS declines every year and you're just running conversion campaigns all day long. This is what I'm talking about, folks. It's really understanding how this industry works. So, I think that's actually it for this particular edition. I do want to say, please keep up the conversation. There's a whole Medium article on several Blueprint articles I have. Please check them out. They're on Medium under YRV or my name, Yosef Yunus. The YouTube channel is awesome. One thing we just did is start converting a lot of these vlogs into podcasts. So we're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, even Samsung Podcasts. So we actually have a whole distribution integration that we have through Podbean where we're actually all over the place, which is really cool. And then our site, YRV Dynamics. But thank you for joining this conversation. I look forward to having much more with you. And like I said, folks, give back to the industry, help the industry. Don't take advantage of it, right? And most of all, your clients really are, it's not about just spending to get yourself out of a situation. It's really being realistic about what's going on. Can you really work with this? There's a client setting realistic goals and then getting a goal, a path to that goal, and then having the right signals across, folks. There's so many people out there that promise the moon, and it's really difficult right now. So thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Look forward to hearing from you. Thank you so much.